This child has an incredible ability. He can make the poor rich overnight, but at a cost. The person who supports him will receive it on the 7th day. Boxed lunch. But the unbelieving couple has had enough of a poor life, so they took the children home. Planned to let the children pick up the money in advance after gaining financial freedom and on the 7th day. And sure enough, there was $1 million in cash in the house that night. This makes the couple so excited that they can hardly repay themselves. The next day, the man immediately bought some toys for the child, and the woman brought the child up to his regular work, but this was a day in the workshop. The woman saw the figure of her son in a trance, and she didn't have time to react. The next second, a large truck crushed it under the car. Fortunately, after opening his eyes, he realized that everything was an illusion. The children in the distance are also playing safely next to them, but the hallucinated truck is actually playing out. The thing in the woman's hallucination. In shock, he kept calling the child, but the child is always in his own world and the woman is doing her best. Finally, the child appeared at the last moment of the crush. Afterwards, he still had lingering fears to appease him. At night, the couple were still hanging out outside the house. There was a sudden noise in the chat room, and the men hurried to check. Found a pure gold bracelet. It seems that this is a child's reward for giving a woman during the day. On the 3rd day, the man replaced the gold bracelet with banknotes, and first easily paid off all his debts. Let the creditor look at it for a moment, and when he got home, he found a gold chain in the kettle. On the 4th day, the couple, women bring their children to a fancy restaurant they've never set foot in their lives. Maybe I'm used to eating coarse tea. Light rice may also be allergic to it. The child who did not eat for a few minutes suddenly coughed violently or even fainted. Now the woman is very anxious. They rushed him to the hospital, but he was okay. But the cost of the treatment made all the money that the man just received go to the hospital. Returning home, the man looked at the sleeping mother and son, thinking about what happened last night. There was no miracle in the end. On the 5th day, the greedy man has less yearning for money in the past. Instead, tell your wife to be firm. Before the implementation of the two-person adoption, the decision was made because the people who adopted him before died without exception. Over the past few days, women have long regarded their children as their own. This makes men a little overwhelmed. He even hit the child, and the man looked familiar at night. The two who slept were still unwilling to look around for places where money might appear. After no results, just as the man was about to undress and go to bed, a strange scene took place. He stared at this mysterious child, afraid of him not sleeping all night. I saw the boy staring at the men with straight eyes, and he stayed up all night in terror. Keep an eye on this mysterious child. On the 6th morning, the child saw that the two were still asleep. He sneaks out of the room, but unexpectedly wakes the woman, and he hurries out to find her, but witnessed a terrifying scene. It was finally saved. Next second, the top of the head suddenly turns to a strange sound. The woman is desperately picking at the trash. I was finally rescued, and in the next second, a strange sound suddenly came from above my head. But on Saturday, when the man wakes up again, being in a luxury villa, the sight in front of him made the man almost suffocate with excitement, because this is the scene he's been dreaming of. However, when the time came for the 7th day, the man wakes up looking for something to eat and finds nothing in the fridge. I couldn't even find a grain of rice in the cupboard. Helplessly, the man came to the door. I can only pick some apples to satisfy my hunger temporarily. As the 7th day goes by, the fear in the man's heart grew stronger. He was afraid that the curse should. He tested it on himself, so he took all the interest in the house that could endanger him. The device was packed and thrown out. I wanted to take a break on the sofa, but then a strange sound suddenly came from behind, and the man gets up to look, and he sees 2 sacks of bills lying around on the floor, and he realizes that the moment of destiny to break the curse is coming. On the other hand, the woman wakes up to find that the child is missing. He was so anxious that he wanted to go out and look for it, but he didn't expect the door to be locked by a man. The child at this time has been tied up by a man who is digging a hole to bury him alive. The woman saw this and begged the man loudly on the balcony to stop his sinful thoughts, but the latter has long since lost his mind. In a hurry, women can only follow the fence regardless of the danger, climbing down and then quickly came to the living room to rescue the child when the man returned. The mother and son had long since disappeared without a trace, so the man pursued them all the way through clues. Finally found them in that dilapidated grass hut. He demanded that the woman hand over the child, but the latter insisted. In the middle of a deep emotional dispute, the man pushed the woman away and stole the child. But he didn't expect it. This move completely infuriated the woman. In a state of extreme grief and indignation, he stabbed the man with the knife, and that's it. The woman who came to her senses after the man lost so much blood that he couldn't escape the 7-day curse. Kneeling on the ground in pain, he did not expect to be able to kill his husband because of the child. Absolutely opposed, but he did not know that he had already established a relationship with the child. The woman in tears kept apologizing to the man's body, but regret was of no avail, and as she looks at the kid in the corner, her eyes are filled with mixed emotions. Finally, he picks up the dagger, slowly gets up, and starts walking towards the child, step by step. However, what was unexpected was that he pointed the tip of the knife at himself. Mom, don't die, Mom. It's Can. What should always happen to people who want to? Something from you. Mom, don't leave Jab and Mom. I don't want to break up with that person. God, that's it. In this way, the couple was ultimately unable to escape the curse of the 7th day, and for the child, he is alone again. So will his next adopter break the curse? So the movie ends.